When you look at all of the grenades, I'll use that term, that you used today, grenades being lobbed by the Big 12 towards the conference, can you address that for the fans?
Well, if you've been reading the press the last 4 weeks, ASU and everyone else has been meeting with the Big 12. None of those meetings occurred. It's all nonsense. It's kerfuffle. And at some point you just have to say, that's not true, and we're not going to allow you to keep saying that.
So the idea of ASU could split from Arizona and all of that fans have been calling me about, writing about, can you put that to rest, please?
There are no Pac-12 schools that are going to the Big 12.
Could there be Big 12 schools coming to the Pac-12?
We haven't gotten into which schools we're going to invite to join the conference yet. That'll be later in the process. We're focused on our media rights first.
What is fact versus fiction right now, George, when it comes to the conference?
Well, I remember when I went to journalism school, you used to have two sources, and you used to have to confirm something, and you didn't pick up something from a Twitter account that was a burner account and publish it as if it was true. That's changed, apparently, but that's all right. We'll get through it. It builds character.
The idea of the other sports outside of football, you were very straightforward about that today, that lost in all of this has become the student athlete.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big issues we're facing. We're really at a point where we're going to end up going down one of two roads. Either we're going to be playing professional football, and in the conferences where that happens, I think there's tens of thousands of scholarships that are lost because I think a whole bunch of the other sports go away. That's not the future that the Pac-12 wants. The future wants our kids to be properly compensated, have an educational opportunity, but they do not want to do it at the expense of all of the other sports.
NIL, where's that stand in your mind today?
It's not being enforced, and as a result, we have the Wild West, and we've got a disparate set of rules, and no one's enforcing the rules. And I understand why the NCAA is not enforcing the rules. They're worried about antitrust as a result of the Alston case from the Supreme Court. That's why today on the podium I called for a smaller group of conferences, the 10 FBS conferences, to kind of self-regulate NIL. We all believe kids should be earning money for their NIL. We just don't want it to be used by boosters as a way to induce a student to go to a different school.
How do you put it back in the box, George?
Well, I think you agree to 3 very simple rules: no inducement, no pay for play, and the amount that gets paid to the kid has to be commensurate with the work done so that you're not backdooring inducement or pay for play. Once you agree to those rules, you have an independent group that enforces those rules, and the penalties have to be stiff, and all of the conferences have to agree to the penalties.
You spoke about playing football games potentially in Southern California, which brought a few eyebrows raised and gasps. Go deeper into that if you could.
Well, I mean, the idea that UCLA and USC own Los Angeles is crazy to me. Like, we have been in Southern California for a century. We don't intend to get out of Southern California.
Could you play games of schools at a neutral site in Southern California?
Of course.
And that is on the table.
Everything's on the table.